Okay, so I wanted to talk about this idea of satisfaction because it came up to me the other day. I wrote about it, but I have the notes right here, but I'm not gonna use them because I have an idea of like what I want to talk about, so I'm gonna let it roll. So, satisfaction, it comes up in this weird way, right? And let me identify satisfaction. I'm looking at it from the non-hedonistic point of view. I'm looking at it as the terms of I am satisfied. I've done the maximum amount of fulfillment that I could have for that day. Now, what I do understand, what I do understand is that this concept, it happens to a lot. It happens to people. People can feel it, so that I don't really need to explain it to you. But like when you have a day like that, you feel that emotion. That I believe it's serotonin. Don't quote me on that. But it's this idea where that you've done the maximum capacity of things for that day that you are willing to do, and you are physically and mentally exhausted in this way. But it's not exactly exhausted to the point where you can't do anything. So I wanted to talk about this sort of limbo, which is between the idea of being satisfied with your day and wanting to do more. So what I understand is that most people can't sit still. So the solution to this is obviously, like, the no bullshit solution is to sit there and let yourself be bored, so that way you can figure out what new mental task is in front of you, right? Because oftentimes when you're sitting there, right, and you're actually like genuinely bored, like you have nothing to, just sit there and like literally like look at the fucking ceiling for like literally 10 minutes, and you'll start to realize that, oh shit, wait, that's a problem. Like, that's the reason why I'm able to discover my personal problems, is because I take the time out of my day, right? It doesn't be like super long. It's not like I'm like sacrificing like an hour, right? I'm just simply going through 10 minutes of my day where I'm completely like brain dead and bored. I'm just like sitting there, I'm just like, okay, you don't even have to give yourself a prompt, but you can. And this way there's two things you could gain out of that prompt, by the way. You can guide your brain to figuring out what it thinks, and then you can also readjust it so it becomes much more like for your win, for the conscious person's win, right? Because a lot of times the average person's subconscious works against them. And obviously you're given a brain so it works for you. So obviously you want to shape it for you, so on and so forth. That's what I'm getting at. So this idea of satisfaction is, I don't know how to look at it. Because like, okay, I've done all the things for the day, but I want to do more. And then you're kind of like restricted almost. So it gets this like crossfire of, okay, I'm annoyed, but I'm okay. And I believe sitting there with that thought, at least, is a good thing for you to do when you're in this like satisfactory state. And then when you're I don't know how to put this, because like I have an idea in my head, but I'm not quite sure how to like describe it to you, so I apologize. But it's this it's a way where you okay, hold on, let me get the problem that I want to get across. So the problem that I want to get across is that I have this problem where I want to head towards like those negative mental distractions right after I get satisfied, but I understand that it damages me, but I don't want to be bored. So I think the solution to that would be to allow myself to be bored, so that way, because that should be a higher priority than doing that, and it also doesn't negatively affect me in any way. And also, like, things to do that are like good for you, I don't really know many of my own, because like obviously I've taken it from like other ideas and like other people recently, but it's like it's just this like, it's trying to understand what I could actually do within that time. Because I want to be able to choose to be bored and not be like, oh yeah, I'm bored. You know? Because it's great to use boredom for a certain point, but then you get to like a breaking point after like, I mean, at least in my opinion, after like 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, the problem kind of repeats itself to you. You understand, okay, this is my next mental road that I have to get through. And then it's just like, that's it. There's no more use until you break that. And then you go, okay, what's the next problem? What's the next problem? So you can only really use it like sparingly and for a limited amount of time until you break that mental barrier. So when it comes to day-to-day success or satisfaction, it becomes a lot more convoluted as of what to do and when to do it. Because we also have to keep in mind that you could get done with all your stuff at like 10 a.m. Right? I'm recording 2 videos today. That's my main like work task, right? And I'm going to be done relatively soon. This is my second video. So just to like, just that weird, the realization that that is the thing that is stopping me. It's just like you get into this, yet again, this limbo state where you're sitting there consciously questioning yourself like, okay, what to do? So, I don't know. And also another idea that I was convoluting about in my notebook, which I'll explain to you real quick. It's this idea of sacrifice for satisfaction. So, by now we understand that video games damage your mental health in ways, shapes, or forms. However, if we were to go about playing them, right, but we do so where we were actually having a purpose of socializing with people. Now, do not get me wrong. Sorry, my voice just disappeared. Don't get me wrong. These people are low-quality people, but the issue is that A, it's hard to find high-quality people, and B, these, fuck it. All right. So these low-quality people, they do damage your mental health a lot, too. But when you have the understanding that, like, okay, I know these people damage me, instead of just like, oh, I'm hanging out with this person, you get, like, a different barrier that you can go, okay, yep, that's something I don't want, that's something I don't want, I don't want to act like that guy, I don't want to act like that guy, but I want to be around them because they're cool people to hang out with and have social presence with and just let them do their thing, right? So I'm wondering, I guess, for your opinion on what does that mean to you, right? Does that sacrifice mean it's worth it? Does it mean it's not worth it? Because I'm kind of on the fence. I've made a decision a long time ago, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's worth it to socialize, but now I'm kind of on the fence because I'm like, okay, maybe it isn't, but like, also, how else would I socialize? Because like, I live, for reference, it's like a suburban town, but all my neighbors are old people. Like, all of my neighbors are old people, so it's like, we don't really get along that well, especially with this, like, huge generation gap that's occurring in modern society. And what I mean by, like, not get along, I mean, it's partially my social inadequacy, it's partially their age, and it's partially, like, I don't like talking to random old people that much. Like, I want, like, to put this in a weird way, like, I do like talking to old people because they have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of experience to tell you, like, okay, go do this thing in case shit goes south, all right? Or, like, do this thing to succeed, right? Or they say, don't do that thing, and they're really valuable lessons because they've gone through an extra 50 years of life compared to you. But it's just the idea of, like, strangers, it's like, eh. But, like, if someone... Oh. Okay, yeah, scratch what I was just about to say. I came up with a new thing here, and I just realized my problem. My social problem, which I just realized, is that I don't actually go to people to socialize. I end up getting bridged across by somebody else. I could find like thousands of examples of that. That's crazy. Because that's how I knew that one friend, and then that's how I knew him. And then that's why my social skills are so fucked up. Okay. Now I have something really cool I can tell you. And it is that social bridging is to your demise. Meaning, like, if you're with one other person, right? Okay, to be fair, maybe I became friends with that one other person, but that's still one person to become a friend with, like, actually one-on-one. And then I just let the other person bridge me to other people, right? So it's kind of weird because it doesn't make a lot of sense. So with that being said, I want you to be aware of that, and I also want you to be aware of what satisfaction means for you and what it means when you hit beyond that point in your day. Because obviously it doesn't matter if it's like 10 p.m. and you're going to bed and you're like, yeah, I feel satisfied today. Like, okay, cool, go to sleep. Wake up next morning, do it again. But if it's like 5 p.m. and you've got another 4 hours to be up, you're like, what the hell do I do? Like, I'm done with everything. I've got my little task list. Everything's checked off. I've done everything I wanted to do. Because obviously you make the task list to things you want to do, because you don't make up what someone else prescribes to you. That'd be stupid. So make it the way that you want to do it, and then check it off, and you're like, well, shit, what do I do? Because, like, you're done, right? And I don't know. It's just the idea of finding things is hard. Like finding actual things by yourself is difficult. That's why the internet has such a benefit, because you could just go, results, boom. So I think that's going to be it. And as always, we're here to help you help them.